Hey now, it's Steve Stevens for Bionic Buzz. I'm here to talk about this amazing new horror movie called The Old Ways. It's about a woman named Cristina. She's a journalist from Mexican origin, travels to her ancestral home in Veracruz to investigate the story of sorcery and healing. There, she is kidnapped by a group of locals that claim she has a demon inside of her. Now, check out my interview with the cast that's brought this amazing film together. All right. Well, I'm so excited to talk to you guys because I loved The Old Ways. It was so freaking good. I guess I don't know who wants to start first, but how did this project originally get going?
That's a Marcus question.
Yeah, Mark.
Great. Hey, Stephen, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris and I had been trying to figure out a project that would work for us to kind of produce on our own through Soapbox Films. And as I was thinking about it, I had always been fascinated with stories of like brujas and brujeria. I was born in Puerto Rico. My mother had some stories growing up on the island of encounters with that sort of other spirituality. I was raised very Catholic, so we always had a good fear of anything outside of that. And I knew there was a really rich history, tradition, and world to uncover once we started thinking in that way, and thought, wouldn't it be cool to kind of do an exorcism story, but from a culture we haven't seen represented this way exactly on screen before, and how fresh everything could be. And so I wrote the first 30 pages of an idea down very quickly, shared it with Chris, and said, hey, does this sound like a thing that we could possibly do? And Chris gravitated to the material. He thought it was pretty cool. And then we just kept kind of developing it and working it out together, and really doing a lot of research and having that inform the kind of story we knew we could pull off at the scale we were trying to pull off. So that was kind of the beginning of it.
Wow. So I mean, is a lot of it like true? I love a lot of the artwork they had in that book, the Exorcist book, I guess you go call it. Like, is that a lot of that was true, or like came from some sort of myth, or?
Yeah, this is a documentary.
Oh, geez, that makes it even more scarier.
It's 100% true. No, I mean, a lot of it's all culled from stories and myths and stuff that we could find and research we've done. But one thing that we were very excited about as we got deeper and deeper into the brujeria culture is that there are no real rules. There's not like a Bible for it. So it all tends to kind of evolve from a very localized point of view, like whatever may have been going on in this part of their, this village or wherever, and the brujas and the brujos would kind of create their own procedures and methods for dealing with issues, and that they would just kind of borrow from whatever they knew, like if it were Aztec or Mayan or Spanish, Catholic, Afro-Caribbean influences from across the water. So it was always kind of like a melting pot of stuff, which was really fascinating to us, and we could really kind of lean into the things that were intriguing to us and seemed like fresh and unseen folklore. So yeah. a lot of stuff that we created based on research,
Yeah, I mean, specifically, there are a few things, Stephen, in the movie that are like really based on real things. The psychic surgery sequences, I mean, you can Google or go to YouTube. You probably shouldn't, but you will see footage of psychic surgeries of people who say they can like reach into your skin without actually making a cut, and then pull out blockages and stuff like that. So we would look at those and go like, okay, great. How do we do our elevated version of that? And or as you see the character Javi, as they're doing a cleansing, he's kind of shaking these branches and herbs and stuff like that, that is something you'll see oftentimes. The way he's kind of spitting holy water into the air was crazy, but based on research and things we would see. So we would bring that to the performer and we'd say like, okay, let's build this world out of this. So yeah, definitely it was a blend of all those things. And we looked at it as an opportunity to kind of create our own visual language and symbology based on research, but taking it in a new direction. Like I said before, what would happen if you did this exorcism story, but you didn't have the priest and the Bible and, hey, we contacted the Vatican and they said we should do a research and a pentagram. None of those things are in the movie, because any opportunity we had to kind of take a fresh eye at these things and not redo. I mean, look, I love The Exorcist, but I do feel like there's an awful lot of movies that kind of use that movie as its source and go, this is what it always is. And you see it repeated over and over again. And it's always scary. But in this case, we really didn't want to retread where others have been. They've done that story a bunch of different ways. So we wanted to kind of wipe the slate clean and then fill it with blood and vomit instead.
I really love that the actress Brigitte, who plays Cristina, like she at the very beginning, she doesn't really think that she has a demon in her, and it's like kind of like this like kidnapping kind of thing that goes along with it. I think that was kind of a really cool aspect that goes along with the Exorcist. Like you said, a Exorcist movie has been done so many different ways to kind of rethink, but this is such a unique aspect of it. I love it, the setting, and even the demons aspect was the design, and the sound design was really amazing, you know.
Yeah, the design of the demon was based on a lot of research. We worked with a designer, Keith Thompson, who he does a lot of stuff for Guillermo del Toro, and he did, I don't know if you've seen the movie The Ritual that a friend of ours directed. He did the creature for that. He worked on Apocalypto years ago. So he had a lot of knowledge about not only demons, but also Mayan and Aztec design and folklore. So we all worked together kind of about the midpoint of working on the script after we got a really good story and that kind of stuff in place. But we really wanted to make sure the demon wasn't just like a tacked on like shellac at the end. You know, we wanted it to be integral to the look and feel of the movie. So through a lot of our research, we found images of bodies that had been untombed, that had the skulls had been elongated as like a ritualistic thing. Like when they were, I guess when they were babies, they would elongate the skulls, and they would, and some of the people, they would drill into their teeth, and, you know, with, I'm sure, not very great medicine, and put jewels and stones in their teeth. We would find drawings of leaders and maybe religious leaders with these like large headdresses and then hands on their face. And we kind of incorporated a lot of these ideas into like, well, what if those were not something that people had invented, but things that they had seen in their gods or demons, and work kind of backwards from that, as if like, well, what did they see that came up? How did they come up with these ideas? And then we tried to imagine what the real anthropomorphized version of that would be. So that's kind of where a lot of the big choices for the look and feel of the demon came from. And then sound design wise, we work with these great guys called Sound Department at a lot of, we're partners with them on a lot of other movies, and they really, you know, every person along the way, from the drawings to the sculpting and the fabrication and that physical performance to the actor in the suit to all the way to the sound, everybody like tried to live it and be as method as they could and think about like, well, what's causing this sound, or why was he sounding this? What's his emotion? Like, is he, you know, he's got like a personality for us, you know, you don't get to see it a lot on screen, but we kind of have a whole backstory to him and the why he acts like he does and why he is the specific demon for the issues that our main character is grappling with.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about her. How'd you find actress Bridget? I mean, she did an amazing job and really carried this whole movie with her performance, you know?
Um, yeah, that was lots and lots of casting and callbacks, and we got really lucky with almost all of the other actors. I would say our casting team brought them into us probably on like the first for each character, like the first callback, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, oh, this is easy, you know, because we found Andrea and Sal and Julia. They came out, you know, it just seemed like, oh, great, check, you know, we found the perfect people. And then it took us weeks and months to find Bridget.
Wow.
So much so that we had to postpone the filming schedule a few times. We were considering, we were about, I don't know, 11 days away from when we were going to shoot, and we still didn't have her. And we're considering canceling the shoot altogether, or at least postponing it. And we were getting,
Wow.
it was like, you know, pilot season here in LA, and all the actors, you know, we were getting close to that. And it's like, well, if we don't shoot by now, we're not going to be able to get anybody because they're all going to be busy doing TV shows. And then she came in and blew us all away. You know, we were just, it was super obvious right away that we found somebody really special and who perfectly kind of embodied this pretty complex character, because she has to be, you know, very strong,
Yeah.
but also very damaged through her
Yeah.
life, and
Vulnerable.
vulnerable, and be able to turn that on its head at the end and be like super powerful. So we got lucky for sure.
And also just someone, not only those character traits, but like to someone who would be able to deal with snakes on them, someone who would have to deal
Yeah. Oh my
with
goodness.
physicality
Giving shivers just thinking about that scene right now.
yeah. And she was so dedicated to it, and it was
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, you know, really, you could tell she knew the responsibility of herself and her character to carry the movie. And she did an outstanding job. I'm so happy that people are getting the chance to see what an incredible actor Bridget is.
Yeah, and you did an amazing job writing a cool backstory for her too, like why she was there, you know, in her past. And it wasn't, you know, just like she got kidnapped, there's a demon in her. So I love that. Christopher, I gotta ask, is it harder to work with Muppets or animals? Because you have snakes, rats, a chicken in this movie, you know.
Yeah, you know, I've worked with a lot of I've worked with elephants and ostriches and
Okay.
dogs, and lots of kids. I do a lot of stuff for Disney Channel and Walt Disney and stuff like that, and Muppets. You know, those are all good training for this, and that's kind of, we like to draw on our experience and our strengths for how we put these things together. So we went into it pretty, you know, with open eyes, knowing that, you know, this could be a real nightmare when we show up. I mean, in this movie alone, we have chickens, rats, snakes, goat.
Oh yeah, the goat too. I can't forget the goat.
There are more animals. There's probably more animals that we didn't even know about.
Well,
and
let's talk about the
obviously a
snake scene,
large-
because that was crazy scene. Was that hard to shoot? You know, get the snakes to,
Well,
you know, like
you
that,
know,
or
we did a lot of planning, and usually best laid plans are just get you to the day, and then you have to kind of throw it all out. Especially with animals, like, you don't know what they're going to do. They're not reasonable. But I'd drawn, you know, I'd drawn everything out. My storyboard artist had drawn everything out also. We filmed fake versions of it with rubber snakes with our iPads. We'd done everything we could, knowing that, you know, what the heck, what's a snake gonna do? Like, I've never seen this trained snake before. So we were pretty concerned and had backup plans for everything, and thought we'd have to do a lot of stuff with editing tricks and stuff like that to make it feel real. And these snakes like did everything we wanted them to do. Like, they literally did like, there's shots, even now when I watch it, there's shots in it that I'm like, that's exactly the way we planned it, and the snake's doing exactly what we want. And you would think you would need to do CGI to pull it off. And that scene, you know, I'm happy to say, there's zero special effect, or, you know, post visual effects at all in that scene. It's all 100% real snakes doing exactly what we want them to and exactly what the character doesn't want them to do. And
I mean, even down to one of the snakes had a white eye, which mirrors our
Oh my
characters,
goodness.
and
Yeah.
that was purely
That's
like
yeah,
serendipitous.
the wrangler showed up that day and he's like, hey, I'm so sorry, I got to, I brought 4 snakes, but the best one, the biggest one, it just started molting yesterday, and I didn't know, and his eye's white, so if you don't want to use it, we'll use the other ones, they're pretty good too. And I was like, that's the best news I could have ever heard. I'm like,
wow.
because we're trying to get foreshadowing and all this stuff in there, and Luce, the main bruja, she has a white eye, and I was like, that's awesome. Like, that's so cool. We'll use that for sure. So
That's amazing. I thought you maybe like digitized the eye or something, like
no, yeah, no,
that
it's
boggles my mind.
completely real and just serendipity. You find these opportunities and you gotta jump at them when they present themselves. And yeah, the chicken was the best chicken. Like, the chicken did everything we wanted the chicken to do. The rat, we had 2 rats. They both were amazing. Like, one of the rats was good at being in one place, and one of the rats was good at going from one place to another. So
Wow.
they were great. We got super, I don't know if we got lucky. We hired the right people and they were amazing at their jobs. So we were lucky that we found them, that's for sure.
Yeah, bravo to them.
Great.
So you just had the world premiere. I hope I pronounced this right. The Stiges Film Festival, was that correct? Or
Sitges, I think is how
okay.
they pronounce it in Spain. It's a city south of Barcelona.
Okay, I never heard of that one. Okay, that explains why.
Yeah,
How was the response there? I mean, I hope they loved it as much as I did.
We didn't get to go because
yeah.
because we're not allowed to travel to Europe.
Did you do like a virtual Q&A or anything?
Well, they couldn't even do that because they had to what the time that they would usually use to do that between screenings, they had to spend like spraying it and cleansing it for the next audience. We did like a little taped intro that we sent in that they were able to play beforehand. But from what we can tell from the Twitterverse and all that stuff, it seemed like it was really very positive so far. Knock on wood, we haven't heard any negative reviews so far.
Yeah,
so we're waiting for that shoe to drop, but hopefully people will keep liking it and finding ways to relate to it. I think it was well received. I wish we could have been there. We got our first piece of fan art from one of the screenings, so that was exciting. And actually, Marcos has it framed in the I can see it in the background back there.
Oh, nice. So what's the latest is this? When is this going to get released, or is there going to be more film festivals, or what's the latest?
There probably will be some more festivals. We have we're kind of holding out for America because we don't really know what you kind of have to pick your debut North American festival, because once you do, you kind of can't get into the other big ones. So we don't really know what those are like with COVID right now. We're hoping that Sundance or South by Southwest or one of those big ones will happen. Meanwhile, we're cautiously kind of putting in a few foreign ones, like Sitges they call it like the can of genre movies. So right now we're trying to sell to a distributor. So we're in negotiations now with a couple of places that hopefully one of them will be the right home for it, and we'll get some sort of release. I would think by next Halloween.
Yeah, definitely. This is the perfect Halloween movie. So
so hopefully stateside in less than a year, but we'll probably know more in the next 2 weeks, I would think.
Well, before I let you guys go, is there anything you guys are working on you're allowed to talk about or promote, or?
Well, Brigitte, she's in Fear the Walking Dead right now, which if you like that show, she's got a really awesome character arc in this season. And she's also, I see, like Star Wars. She's in Star Wars.
She did the Clone Wars. Great job in that.
So she's becoming like her own little Comic-Con icon on her own. So there's that. Marcos and I are working on other ideas. We've got ideas for sequels or like a series or something that could come out of this.
Oh, I would love that. I hope
Yeah,
that
depending on the response, you know, so we want to be prepared to that if there's an appetite. We're also developing a movie based on one of my wife's novels. She's a novelist who writes
cool.
scary books. So we're working on that. What else? We have our Muppets Now show just released on Disney Plus. So,
Yeah, amazing job. Congrats on that.
thank you. Yeah,
My
so
kids and I love watching it.
Oh, good. Yeah, I did. I was one of 3 directors for that. We produced it at Soapbox Films, our production company. So yeah, there's a bunch of little things. Oh, nothing huge news yet, other than Muppets,
Yeah.
which is always exciting. But we're hoping to have something.
Cool. Is there like a website or social media ways we can stay up to date with everything going on at Soapbox Films and in this film?
Yeah. Well, the Old Ways has I think it's just the Old Ways. Is it the Old Ways movie? I think on most of the social platforms, and Soapbox is Soapbox Online. It's on most of the, I think, Twitter and Instagram. That's its handle there. And then I'm at Chris Alender and Marcos.
Yeah, and your personal social media too. Yeah.
I think I'm at Call Marcos. And
remember telephones?
Find Chris Alender, and then work your way to me.
Gotcha. Well, congratulations to both of you guys. You did an amazing job with this, and I love this film, and I can't wait to see where it goes in the future. So,
thank you.
Well, thank you, taking time to talk to me, and we'll talk down the road. All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very cool.
Cheers.